So good morning and good afternoon, Excellencies, delegates, the ISD Alliance members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. We have a jam-packed agenda, so that's why we're starting, right on the dot at 9 a.m. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to this first session of the 2021 SDG Investment Fair. Today and tomorrow, the sessions of the SDG Fair will address one of the largest challenges the global community is facing when it comes to the implementation of the SDGs, and that is how to mobilize the necessary resources that are required to put the world on a sustainable development trajectory. Yes, the SDG Investment Fair offers a crucial opportunity to advance the discussion on this topic and to identify concrete actions. It provides a platform for direct exchange between governments, the private sector, development finance institutions, multilateral agencies, academics, and other key stakeholders. My name is Joaquin Hugo. I'm the head of Global Solutions at Citi, and it is my privilege to moderate this session as a representative of one of the members of the UN Secretary General's Global Investor for Sustainable Development Alliance. The GISD Alliance members have been working closely with the UN's Department of Economic and Social Affairs on the organization of the SDG Investment Fair. In fact, the topics of the SDG Fair sessions this year are closely aligned with the work of the GISD Alliance. Let me give you a brief overview of the program. First, we will have presentations of concrete SDG-aligned investment opportunities by 4 countries. Jamaica and Kenya will present today, and Ghana and Pakistan will present tomorrow. The presentations will be followed by a dialogue with investors. In addition to the country presentations, there will be 3 policy spotlight sessions that will focus on critical issues for mobilizing investment into the SDGs. One session later today will explore how to scale up investment in sustainable infrastructure. There's 2 sessions tomorrow. One of the policy spotlight sessions will look into critical incentives to incentivize to promote long-term investment. And finally, there's another session tomorrow that will look at the role of the SDG-related metrics in order to strengthen reporting and alignment of investment and finance with sustainable development. We have a short period of time for the agenda, so we're going to start right away with the country presentations. The format is that Jamaica and Kenya will both present their projects for 20 minutes. After the Jamaica presentations, there will be a time for discussion with the GISD Alliance members, the DFIs, and members from the audience, and then we'll replicate for Kenya. My great pleasure to welcome the delegation from Jamaica to the 2021 SDG Investment Fair. The members of the Jamaican delegation are the Honorary Nigel Clark, Minister of Finance and Public Service, Ms. Diane Edwards, President of the Jamaica Promotions Corporation. Dr. Clark will make opening statements, render the main presentation, and then we have 2 panelists from Jamaica, Dr. Eric Deans, who's the CEO of the Jamaica Special Economic Zones Authority, and Mr. Gleister Cunningham, who's the Vice President of Investment and Performance Monitoring at the National Water Commission. And with that introduction, let me hand it over to the Jamaica delegation, to Dr. Clark, and then to Ms. Edwards for the presentation.
Think you know Jamaica? Let's talk about Jamaica. Let's talk business. Let's talk opportunity, manpower, and stability. Let's talk infrastructure and location. Let's talk about manufacturing, agriculture, energy, logistics, business process outsourcing, and tourism. Let's talk about your business. Let's talk vision and growth. Let's talk success. Now you know Jamaica. Enough talk. Let's do business. Do business, Jamaica.
Good morning. I'm not Dr. Nigel Clark, the Honorable Minister of Finance for Jamaica. I'm Dr. Wayne Henry, the Director General of the Planning Institute of Jamaica. Moderator, Mr. Joaquin Hugo, Head of Public Solutions, Citigroup, members of the Kenyan delegation, members of the Jamaican delegation, colleagues from the UN Resident Coordinator's Office and the Department of Economics and Social Affairs, investors and agencies on the call, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm honored to represent the Government of Jamaica at the 2021 Sustainable Development Goals SDGs Investment Fair. For Jamaica, the implementation of the SDGs is a priority, as our National Development Plan, Vision 2030 Jamaica, is hinged on the principle of inclusive growth and sustainable development to leave no one behind. In the early stages of the SDG process, Jamaica recognized that the emerging agenda would require strengthened capacity for development financing and the production of quality data and statistics toward improved policy, planning, and accountability. The roadmap for SDG implementation in Jamaica in 2017 identifies Vision 2030 Jamaica as the framework for the implementation of the SDGs. The Vision 2030 Jamaica Medium-Term Socio-Economic Policy Framework, or MTF, shows the alignment of Jamaica's national development goals, public and other investments with the SDGs and targets. The roadmap also identifies the need to develop innovative financing mechanisms and proposes means of exploring new sources of domestic, international, and private financing. In keeping with this mandate, we are therefore pleased that Jamaica was invited to be a part of this year's staging of the SDGs Investment Fair to explore the theme COVID-19 and beyond, building forward by scaling long-term investment for sustainable development. Jamaica is an upper middle income country that continues to make strides in its economic development. In the year 2019, Jamaica marked its 7th consecutive year of economic growth, 8th consecutive year of growth in employment, 6th consecutive year of decline in the unemployment rate, 9th consecutive year of single-digit inflation, and the 6th consecutive fiscal year of a decline in the debt-to-GDP ratio. These gains evolved from decisive actions and firm commitment to fiscal discipline, strategic structural reform, and the pursuit of sustainable and inclusive economic growth. The successes from our economic reform program have facilitated the repositioning of Jamaica towards a new growth path, laid the foundation for the pursuit of economic independence, as well as provided critical buffers to contend with shocks such as the COVID-19 pandemic and the impacts of climate change. The Jamaican story is one of resilience. To the potential investors who are with us today, let me state clearly that Jamaica is open for business. The World Bank's Doing Business Report 2020 ranks Jamaica as the 6th easiest place to start a business, the 12th easiest for getting credit, and the best Caribbean country for doing business. The COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted the economy and stymied growth in key sectors and has required Jamaica, like the rest of the global community, to balance public health and economic survivability. Nationally, Jamaica responded to the pandemic in the first instance through a $20 billion Jamaican dollar, that's US $138 million COVID-19 allocation of resources for employees or CARE program, the largest social program in Jamaica's history. And most recently, through the Social and Economic Recovery and Vaccine Program for Jamaica, that's a Serve Jamaica program, which commenced in the current fiscal year 2021-22. In addition to funding healthcare and vaccines, a critical element of the program is the upgrading of physical infrastructure to drive jobs and economic activity, improve productivity, and strengthen resilience. The Jamaican economy is expected to return to growth as early as the current quarter, April to June 2021. As Jamaica explores opportunities to close the SDG investment gap, we welcome the opportunity afforded by this fair and look forward to feedback on the portfolio presented today. In the words of our Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, now is the time to invest. Now is the time to imagine a new landscape and get it done, because we know that we will either overcome the pandemic and put it behind us, or we will learn to live with it. Jamaica is open for business. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Then we're moving on to the portfolio presentation. Ms. Edwards.
Good day, good morning, good afternoon, all. I'm Diane Edwards, President of JAMPRO, Jamaica's economic development agency responsible for attracting and facilitating local and foreign investment, increasing exports, and driving improvements in Jamaica's business environment. First, let me say a very warm welcome to those joining us from around the globe for this country presentation on Jamaica at the SDG Investment Fair. Particular welcome to our friends and colleagues from Kenya who are sharing this session with us, and a special thanks to the organizers for inviting us to participate. It's a real pleasure to address you, particularly because the SDG goals are firmly embedded in our guiding development plan, Vision 2030, a bipartisan agenda whose bold vision foresees Jamaica becoming a developed country in 9 years' time. Those who know Jamaica's reputation for speed on the international stage and our successful history navigating a rigorous IMF agreement know what we as a nation can achieve when we put our minds to it. Today, in 15 short minutes, I will build on the remarks of our Director General to provide a quick overview of Jamaica's business environment and to present 3 key projects which we think will really excite our audience as to the potential for investment in Jamaica. Jamaica's investment regime is open, transparent, and liberal. We have no foreign exchange controls, no restrictions on foreign ownership of assets, and no restriction on repatriation of profit. We are in the process of developing a national investment policy and a national business portal which will allow investors seamless interface with the government of Jamaica and obtaining approvals of your projects online. I would also like to remark that the Jamaica Stock Exchange has been the top performing stock market globally in 2015 and 2018, that we have 12 double taxation treaties with various countries, that the IMF economic growth forecast for Jamaica is actually 1.5% for 2021 and 5.7% in 2022, expected to outperform the regional average of 3.1%. And we're very pleased to hear that Fitch in March 2021 affirmed our B+ rating and kept our outlook from positive to stable. And lastly, but not at all least, Jamaica is ranked 4th in Latin America and the Caribbean for its PPP program. Our PPP and privatization program has really been a stellar success of our investment attraction program. We have a specialized agency, a specialized unit within the Development Bank of Jamaica that oversees PPPs, identifies projects, supports the line ministries to make business cases, and then turns it over to Cabinet for approval of projects. Through this system, we have completed 5 major PPP transactions: the Norman Manley International Airport, the Sangster International Airport, the Kingston Container Terminal at the Port of Kingston, now the most modern port in the Caribbean, the North-South Highway, and Highway 2000, which runs east to west. We have completed 25 privatizations between 2009 and 2020 across various sectors, and this has generated over 1.7 billion in PPP and privatizations transactions completed. So turning to investment projects, I really want to speak about 3 of our 5 investment projects which are in the portfolio today. We've selected these projects because they are exciting and they're actually ready for market. So in your portfolio, you will see that there are 2 additional projects, to the three I'm presenting this morning. Soapberry Wastewater Treatment Plant, which is going to be an expansion of the major wastewater treatment plant for Kingston, and the JFEL Agriculture Project, which is an integrated project from farming to warehousing to processing of produce for the international and local markets. So moving into our first project, the Caymanas Special Economic Zone. This is a project which corresponds to, as you can see, 5 of the SDG goals. The project sponsor is the Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority, whose CEO is with us this morning. This is the authority that regulates the development of SEZs in Jamaica. There are actually 131 entities now operating under the SEZ regulations, accounting for investment of $1 billion. This project is going to be the flagship of a new generation of SEZs, high-tech, purpose-built, environmentally friendly, and offering high-quality jobs in a landscaped industrial and commercial development with globally competitive tax incentives and quick access to the Port of Kingston. The project plan boasts an upscale mixed-use urban center, including light industrial logistics and distribution, and adjacent to commercial, residential, educational, health, and recreational facilities. The project area covers 236 hectares. In terms of the financing and operating structure, the project cost is estimated at $190.6 million. The modality is a PPP with a master concession up to 50 years. This is negotiable under the build, operate, and transfer modality. You can see there that the development IRR, the project IRR are pretty favorable, and that the project NPV of $31 million US is actually a very attractive proposition. The social impact of this project is quite extensive, including quality jobs, transfer of knowledge and technology to the local population, contributing to economic welfare, and to the national outcome 9, which is strong economic infrastructure. This is the project area you can see on the map that is between Kingston on the east and Portmore, which is a dormitory city of 350,000 people to the west. It also is contiguous with the Soapberry Wastewater Treatment Plant. The legal structure for this project concentrates on an SPV with a PPP master concession. That SPV is intended to attract investment from private entities and will then have a construction agreement to build, operate, and then eventually transfer this, the SEZ, the Caymanas Special Economic Zone. So this is an extremely attractive project, which we commend to you. The timelines are actually already engaged, the finalization of the business case by June 21 this year, and then market engagement for 4.5 months. We will then hire a transaction advisor and structure the project for the following 5 months, getting cabinet approvals, and then launching a bid process by January 2022. And 15 months of transaction time should actually take us to financial close by July 22. So moving on rapidly to the next project, Northern Parish's non-revenue water project. This is sponsored by our National Water Commission, which is a government agency responsible for providing water to residential and commercial customers across the island. Challenges with the system means that they are facing some 72% of revenue losses due to challenges with the system, non-revenue water system. So what the project plans to do is to reduce these losses from 72% to an economic target of 30% by 2026. The project therefore corresponds to the SDG Goal 6, Clean Water and Sanitation. Cooperation envisaged is a performance-based contract to include installation of technologically friendly digital performance measurement systems and instruments. And then there will be a payment structure and compensation to the specialist contractor that is linked to the reduction of non-revenue water based on targets, preset targets. The financing and operational structure, this is a $42 million project, performance-based contract to rehabilitate, build, operate, and finance. The revenue source will be from an NWC National Water Commission tariff, and this project will generate annual positive net cash flow of 12.9 million in 2026. So really we think that this is a very worthwhile project with a strong social impact. It will impact on the lives of probably close to 500,000 residents currently, and then new residents which will come into the area based on the new operating opportunities. This is a map of the area which will show you where the residents live who will be affected by this project. The possible legal structure for the project is through a special purpose vehicle created by the National Water Commission with private financiers who will come in as specialist contractors to the project. This is a performance-based contract, again, to rehabilitate, build, operate, and finance. And the timetable for this project, 2 phases have already been completed, so there is a full business case which can be consulted. We have investor pre-qualification by December 2021, and then eventually contract signing is projected for May 2022, financial closure by November 2022, and completing of construction by 2027. I move on to a purely private sector project, Bamboo Bioproducts Project. This project is a totally new venture sponsored by British and Jamaican principals, aligned with 4 SDG goals. The project utilizes locally grown bamboo, Bamboo vulgaris, through a diverse sourcing structure of company-owned lands and managed bamboo farms across the island. This bamboo will be stored and processed in a processing plant into conventional air-dried and fluffy pulp, which are used in a variety of products, including tissue paper, paper towels, diapers, and PPE masks. The direct impact will be 300 jobs, immediate jobs. Also, the project will have an impact on the environment because bamboo forests are known for carbon sequestration, excess oxygen production, and soil enrichment through water storage and composting from fallen leaves. This is a $254 million project in terms of construction of the mill. It is looking at a total debt of $209 million, of which they are seeking $30 million, an $89 million contribution in equity, of which they are seeking $40 million, and is expected to generate revenue of $1.5 billion over 10 years, with a net profit margin of 35%. Obviously, the social impact of this project will be very strong: technology transfer and improving revenue to small farmers. The audience should be aware that Jamaica is in a conversion process from the sugar industry, which is declining. So this will give a real opportunity to small farmers to participate. And this will improve the rural economy and support National Outcome 12, which is to create internationally competitive industry structures and new manufacturing technologies. This is what the plant layout looks like, and the manufacturing process of pulp from bamboo is expected to produce residual waste products, which can also be used in production of various products. The bamboo twigs and branches can be used for small products, such as straws, stirrers, pens, and other bamboo products. The waste sludge can be used for cement production or road filling materials. The waste also has potential for biofuel pellets from the bamboo biomass. And this will really revolutionize Jamaica's value chain in agriculture and manufacturing. This is a simple project, really a private sector project interested in attracting various investing entities. Most of the equity and the debt have been, as we saw from the previous slide, have been secured, and they are looking for new partners for this project. Timetable, very simple. They conduct the environmental and social impact statement in 2021, that's this year, then conclude the offtake contracts, which I know have already been expressed. start up the mill and performance test for market commercialization by 2023. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our presentation of 3 of the most exciting projects that we have in the Jamaican market now. There are also 2 other projects in your portfolio, and we're happy to answer questions on all of them. So thank you very much for listening. Really, I'm pleased to be here and to be able to now join the panel discussion and to answer all of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Edwards. So just a reminder, there's a Q&A field on the on your WebEx. If you have a question, please go ahead and put it in there. We'll collate questions after we invite our panel and our respondents from the ISD to make comments. So in terms of the sequence, from the Jamaican government panelists, anything you want to add before we go to questions and into comments by GISD? Okay, so if there are no comments from the panelists, let me invite Nadia Nikolova from Allianz for any reactions to the Jamaican presentation.
Good morning and afternoon, everyone. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. Thank you for having me here. Wonderful presentation, and great to hear that we've seen investment projects in excess of 500 million, something that I think we as investors tend to be skeptical about of bankable, investable projects. I think what was very clearly and illustrated is the vast ways in which we see different projects being financed, for public-private partnerships, all the way down to fully commercial projects, and in between contracts that are performance-based. I think that allows different pockets of capital and investors to seek different risk-return profiles, not just on the debt and equity side, but taking more government risk, all the way down to user fees, all the way to pure commercial contracts. I think that illustrates a wonderful capacity of the Jamaican government to approach different pockets of capital. We have seen alignment of SDGs across. I think what we are seeing from an investor perspective is a significant change in regulation. So one step further to think is how are not only the intention on the SDGs and the mapping day one, but also how are these projects over time going to report on the various SDG aligned factors, whether that's number of people employed over time, not just the intent to do so. What was the organizations that were served, percentage of female suppliers in certain of those contracts, all of these things depending on the project. Additional data would also need to be monitored over time and shared with investors. But so far, really great to see the evaluation of projects come through. Thank you.
Joaquin, I don't know if you can hear me. Joaquin, are you able to hear?
Yes, I'm sorry. I was unmuted myself.
Okay.
Any comments from Katerina Court from Bank of America Global Sustainable Group?
Hi. I hope you're well. Thank you very much for the presentation. We have had several discussions on the GISD and have seen how fantastic certain regions have been doing, and congratulations, that's very well done. From a Bank of America perspective, the question for these type of projects is always very important to get a clarity in the summaries, what type of developer you're looking for, or who really the developer will be of these projects. It helps to de-risk the overall model, and it's when I went through the very comprehensive summary, I think it would be really helpful to get more clarity around who the developer will be, how long the developer will be involved, how much experience the developer has. We banks generally are only a financing conduit. We are stupid. So we need intelligent people such as the Jamaican government and the developers to help us how the projects can make the impact over time. I also thank very much Allianz's comment that we need to be able to monitor on an ongoing basis the UN SDGs in order to satisfy our investor demand. So that really, for me, it's what developers did you have in mind, or where do I kind of get a better understanding on the experience of these developers? Thank you.
Any comment from the Jamaica panelists to that question?
Yes, I would like to comment, Joaquin. Thank you, and thanks to your partners from Allianz and Bank of America for those questions. First of all, the development of the National Business Portal is going to mean an online system for monitoring of all investment projects. We also have the Vision 2030 Secretariat, which presents quarterly reports on the progress. And as I said, the SDG goals are embedded in Vision 2030. So it's a part of that report, and various systems within the Jamaican government, such as the Statistical Institute and the Planning Institute of Jamaica, will monitor a vast variety of indicators which are published annually in the Economic and Social Survey. In terms of the presenters or the sponsors of the projects, we can give full information on the sponsors of the projects and their track record. The Bamboo Pulp project is sponsored by a pulp manufacturer who has a long track record in the field, and we can provide information on that. It's just that in the 15 minutes, it wasn't easy to cram all the information into that.
Yes, I'd also like to comment on the Cayman Special Economic Zone and the developers that we have identified. We have done some market soundings over the last year, and we have identified some really large-scale developers of special economic zones across the world, from the US, from Japan, from the Middle East, and from Europe. These investors are very eager to get into the project. We have seen with COVID-19 and with the recent Suez Canal incident that when you have long supply chains, these can be disrupted. So you have companies who are looking to have nearshore locations in the Americas to locate their entities. So we're seeing a lot of interest, both from the developers and from potential companies who will operate within this special economic zone.
But again, a follow-up on that. I don't like her. Can Jamaica as a supplement to Panama Canal operations? Is that something that's within the of the economic zone?
I didn't hear your question properly, Joaquin. Can you repeat? You're breaking up.
Yes, so I mean, to what extent can Jamaica become a logistic in the region that kind of complements the operations of the Panama Canal? Is that part of the investment thesis that you're pitching to the investors?
Okay, I think your question was, how does the Panama Canal complement our location? The Panama Canal accounts for about 5% of world trade. And it is said that if a ship is coming through the Panama Canal, if the captain falls asleep, he will run into Jamaica.
Exactly.
Jamaica is on the direct route. And with Jamaica centrally located in the Americas, we have the ability to access a market of 800 million persons in the Americas. This is part of the strategic attraction of Jamaica that being close to the Panama Canal offers.
Great. And I would have a question for the National Water Commission Vice President. I mean, the two projects, right? The water treatment plant and the recovery of water in the north. given that individually they're not as big, is there any chance that in order to attract mass and economies of scale, they could be actually bid jointly or kind of like commingled?
That could be explored. The two projects, where there is water supply, there is sewage. The northern projects are in a completely different location in this case, but we are seeking to expand that project to the entire island. Concurrent with that, though, we are also doing non-revenue water projects in Kingston and in St. Catherine at the moment. And there are plans to expand that. So if there was an opportunity to combine the two, we would be very interested, yes.
Excellent. And just a reminder to the audience, if you want to ask questions, please go ahead and put them down there at the bottom right of your screens. So I don't think we have any questions from the audience as of now. I'll pose one last question to the Jamaica delegation, and it is, the typical issue we have with environmental permitting. So to what extent is the economic zone and the bamboo project have made progress in terms of environmental, which is one of the, I would say, biggest bottlenecks that investors get scared away from if it's into an early stage?
Well, I'll take it from the Caymanas perspective. The Caymanas project, we have done a strategic environmental impact study. When we get a developer selected and the project has been gone through more detailed design, working with JAMPRO and the planning agencies, the development approval agencies, we will fast track any environmental approvals that are necessary for this project. We don't see it as an impediment in getting the project moving forward.
And I may add, Joaquin, that there have been substantial studies done already on the Caymanas location. So already we know the shape of the environmental challenges with that site. But on a general basis and relating to the Bamboo project, we have the National Environmental Planning Agency, which monitors all environmental impact statements, which big investors are required to do if they are doing projects in Jamaica. We have not found this an impediment. We work very closely with them. And so, as Eric said, we will be fast tracking approvals, but ensuring that there is a robust climate environmental impact statement.
If I could just compliment President Edwards' statements. As she had mentioned in her presentation, the economic zone and our Soapberry treatment plant are adjacent to each other, and it's in all likelihood the effluent from the zone would come through the NWC's plant. Our business case, which is the next stage of preparation of that project, also includes an environmental impact assessment. It will be a complementary one to the one done for the economic zone. Those two projects, as I said, are very, very closely linked.
That's great to hear. That there'll be some fast tracking. Once you join the investors with the projects in the process. That's great to hear. So we're out of time. Basically, any closing remarks from the Jamaican government before we move on?
Well, I would just like to reiterate what the Director General said in his presentation, that Jamaica is open for business. We're very welcoming of foreign investment. We think we have some extremely exciting projects coming on stream now, and we really welcome the interest of the audience in contacting any one of the associations and agencies here represented or JAMPRO to further your business interest.
Thank you so much. And just want to remind the audience that, this is intended to be like a kickoff in terms of the analysis of these projects. And these projects are going to be posted in the SDG Investor platform, which is being developed by the UNDP and supported by the GISD Alliance. So there's going to be more detail there. And obviously, as Ms. Edwards was saying, contacting the specific entities in Jamaica. So thank you so much to the Jamaican delegation again. And now, so we're basically on time, so we can move on to the presentation by Kenya. The members of the Kenyan delegation are Mr. Christopher Kirigwa, the Director General of the PPP Directorate, Dr. Stephen Jackson, which is the UN Resident Coordinator for Kenya, and the main presentation will come from Mr. Wycliffe